Good morning, Off-Grid Aaron here. It is Sunday, January 30th, 2022, vlog number 30. Oof. I just spent 2.5 hours listening to the Yahoo Finance 2022 Market Outlook video, which is basically like a bunch of interviews with financial giants and analysts each day consecutively for the month of December 2021. It's incredibly interesting listening to them talk. The good news is everything they're pretty much expecting from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is what we got. Very slow, gradual increasing of the interest rates in 3 installments they're expecting. Some people are hoping that it'll go as high as 2%, but I heard one analyst say that it shouldn't go higher than 1.5% because of that's the 10-year average, and if it goes over the 10-year average, for some reason that's bad. I'm still struggling to understand how that works exactly. I know that the Federal Reserve, which is actually a central bank, they just called it the Federal Reserve because, and this is literally how this went down. They called it the Federal Reserve because they realized that Americans would never accept anything called a central bank because they'd already gotten rid of 2 of them. But, get this, I, Mr. tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist extraordinaire Aaron Daley, am beginning to suspect the central banks might not be completely evil. Yeah, imagine that. Funny thing when you start looking for truth without a preconceived notion of what it'll be that you'll find, and you just look and you just listen and you take in. I was talking about Andrew Bustamante yesterday, actually, the Everyday Spy guy. I want to talk about him again because another thing he mentioned was about one of the ways to find truth in media is to listen to sources. I don't usually hear it this close, though. They're like just up on the mountain there. The first deer thicket that was right there, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. So, it's the Germans! We are under attack! We are under attack! No. That really threw off my concentration, I'll tell you what. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So Bustamante and finding truth in media, listening to all sources. You don't just listen to one echo chamber, you listen to all the echo chambers. And then you look for the common threads of truth, where you look for the things that they all agree on. And that's where you gain, instead of just information, you gain knowledge from the information that you take in. He said there's an insane amount of information in there, but in order to gain knowledge, you have to take in all of the information and analyze it and assess it and compare it with all the different streams and opinions and thoughts and ideas. And within the midst of all of those, you will find truth. And this was something that I already knew and I've been practicing for decades. And it's why I have no friends. Because I'm not tribal. I don't take sides. I do sometimes. I take sides a lot, actually. But it's just to experience it and see what it's really like and what people really think and what they're really about. It's how I dealt with religion, and it's why I don't believe in it anymore, because I got involved with all the different kinds of religion. I didn't just read about them and judge them from the outside. No, I went on the inside, saw what they were really about. It's all the same shtick, and I'm not into it, so moving on. So, yeah, that's what you do when you listen to the left, not just to the left and the right. You got to go way beyond that, and I'm talking to my fellow Americans here. There's a whole world out there, man. It's a whole world, man. Do you know how big the country of Africa is? It's massive. It's massive. And then the whole giant continent of Russia and China and Europe. It's massive. It's huge. And there's hundreds of different countries, and they all have governments, and they all have agendas. It's like, you want to know why the world's a mess? That's it right there. There are a lot of countries and a lot of governments, and they've all got their own idea of what's going on. And every country tells their people that they're the best. P.S. Nobody's sitting out there going, "Oh, we're just number 23." The people of Burkina Faso aren't crying, going, "Oh, we are only number 93, but this coup has moved us up. Now we are number 90." I just pull the numbers out of my butt. There's no ranking. Well, there is some kind of ranking. I think they rank them. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things you can rank countries by. But I think one of the big gauges is the country's GDP, gross domestic product, how much they produce. It's fair. Where are you two going? Don't go too far. So, you got to listen to all of them too. It's like you could listen to Chinese state-sponsored media, listen to Iran state-sponsored media, listen to Russian state-sponsored media. Watch Press TV, watch Russia Today, listen to the Chinese CCP, whatever the frick it's called. I don't know. They have a few English stations because, don't get me wrong, they have hella propaganda in there. But they learn from the best. They learn from us, the Americans. And we learn from the best. We learn from the Germans. Not everybody disagrees with the things that Goebbels did. They just disagree with what he did with the Jews and stuff. I don't know. I don't know that much about Goebbels. I just know that he was Hitler's propagandist. And he was really good at it. I mean, you don't get a whole country to do that kind of crazy shit without some really good propaganda. You want to see something interesting, though? Check out World War II era black propaganda that was done by Europe. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm just saying, look it up. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And it won't do anything for keeping your current worldview or perspectives of history in one piece. It will not do anything for that at all. None. None at all. Oh my God. Or the effect that Allied bombing of Germany had on their supply chains, and the effect that had on all people, not just the prisoners in the prison camps. That's also very interesting. Yeesh. War is an ugly, ugly, complicated, messy affair. I suppose that's why it's so profitable. Because when you destroy, you must rebuild. Rebuilding costs money. It takes resources, manpower, and plans, and government initiatives, and whatever the hell. Anyway, not whatever the hell. It's all really important. We all need to pay a lot more attention to that sort of thing, which is what I've been doing. Blah, 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 blah. I'm getting routine down. As the routine gets down, I'm getting more done faster, and I'm able to get to these videos faster. And I'm just more in the habit of doing it. That's what I do. Routines, creating routines for yourself is how you program yourself with new habits. And get rid of old ones if you want. The best way to get rid of old habits is to replace them with new ones that you've developed on your own through routine. Routines aren't a bad thing, as long as you're the one creating them for yourself with productive intention. Whatever that may be for you personally. It's just really anything else. really wanted to talk about. Not that there really ever is. So what can I talk about? All kinds of things. I was thinking about as I was watching those financial analysts and financial giants speak of the economy and where it's going and where it's been and what to expect and how to plan your portfolio accordingly. And it occurred to me the effect this has on me mentally. Because I'm living in a tent in the woods and I'm broke. And I can't help being thrust into this world of extreme wealth and opulence that I no longer despise, but rather envy greatly. There wouldn't be even. Oh yeah, there was other thing. I was something else I wanted to talk about. This article that I read about how people used to sleep before the Industrial Revolution came along, and it was focusing specifically on medieval times. But this is a general thing across the globe with human beings. Up until Industrial Revolution came along, and we needed people to work from 9 to 5 every day to be the most productive human beings that they could for the Industrial Revolution. Hoorah! So. But it fucked with our sleep, because before that it's not normal for human beings to sleep through a night for 8 hours straight. Epiphany. There's nothing wrong with you. You wake up in the middle of the night because that's just how we are normally. And back in the day, people used to go to bed pretty much just whenever the sun would go down. But then they would get up like 3 or 4 hours later, around 11 o'clock midnight, and tool around for a few hours doing whatever they wanted to do, and go back to bed again, and then get up when it was light. And that's what I do. Whenever I move out, whenever I'm living outdoors in a tent, I just naturally gravitate to that cycle. I've noticed that. It's happened every time for the last, 2 decades or so that I've been doing this on and off. There's something about it. It's like, the first thing I think is that I start getting up. Do I get up? It's a combination of both, really. I just start naturally waking up earlier, and it's like, I guess I'm up, and I'll make some coffee and listen to the news or whatever. I started waking up really early at like 5 a.m. because I used to. Back in the day, the only thing I had for media out when I was out here was a little transistor radio, and I would wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and start listening to NPR, and I'd listen to it cycle through twice because it would run 5 to 7 and 7 to 9. That was the best I could get, and I would just sit there pissed off all the time about everything they were saying, and I had no real comprehension of anything that was going on behind what they were saying, because they don't explain it, they don't get into it, they never have. It's one of the main things that's always upset me about NPR and every other mainstream media news source we have in the United States: CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, fucking Fox, whoever else. All 24-hour news cycle, all television news. It's just shit. It's just straight. It's not even news. They give you a headline and then 50 minutes of opinion on what they want you to think about it. And in between of all of that, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. And it's not data-driven advertising. It's the old format of brainwashing people with an idea so many times that eventually they just think the idea is theirs, and they go out and they buy the shit. Which is why we're all hooked on Pepsi and McDonald's. Facts. I talked about this the other day. And I still maintain this. I am a huge proponent. I am in favor of data-driven, AI-driven marketing, because I've been using it actively. I'm an active programmer of my algorithm. I don't lead my algorithm, or my algorithm doesn't lead me. I lead my algorithm. I make decisions, conscious decisions, on what I view online, on all of my social media. And as a result of that, it's some of the most informative, awesome social media one can get their hands on. Because I've very carefully, very intentionally, very consciously curated it. I love doing it. And I love how it works. And I love the advertising that I see. And I have never had that thought in my entire life until now. I have despised and hated and just generally spit on the entire marketing industry as though it were another incarnation of religion. But now I fucking love it. Hell, I've run my own marketing campaigns on Instagram and Twitter. No, just on Instagram, really. It didn't result in the sales I was really hoping it would, but I got more followers and attention and whatnot, and it kind of works. And if I would have had more than, just a few $100s to throw on it, it'd probably be far more effective. Because the stuff takes time to learn what you have and who wants it. And I just didn't have enough money to run that big or long of a campaign. One day, though, we'll get there. Yes, Fudashi.fashion. I sell hoodies and t-shirts. I do. I'm not joking. I'm not laughing. I laugh because it's kind of a joke to me at this point, because nobody, except for me, I've bought several of my own products and I love them dearly. They're fucking awesome. My hoodies and t-shirts are the best in the world. I wouldn't have put them up there if I didn't like them, and I wouldn't wear them myself. Well, there were a few, but I took those down. And everybody that I've shown them to has been like, "Oh, that's really cool." Like, they're not just like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, dude, that's awesome. That's so cool what you're doing. I love that. I want to get one. People have told me, I want that. I'm going to buy that. The words have been spoken to me, and then they just don't. I don't hassle them or harass them about it. It's whatever. I don't do my best to not have expectations of people anymore. 4 agreements, right? Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Never make assumptions. Always do your best. And it helps a lot if you're trying to not be disappointed with the human race. I'm really working on that, and I'm succeeding because of the 4 agreements. If you're looking for something to replace your Bible with, there's a good idea. Fuck the Bible. Everybody should be indoctrinated into Don Miguel Ruiz's The 4 Agreements. Totally behind that. Like, that should be the world religion. That's it right there. That's all we need. It's like the golden rule on steroids. It's like if God were really a just and loving God, and he wouldn't have had 10 commandments. He would have had 4, and they would have been that. That's how I know the Christian biblical God is myth. Okay? Because if he was smart, he'd be Don Miguel Ruiz. Seriously, though. Honestly. At least that's how I feel. That's how I see it. Obviously, 7 billion plus people disagree with me. But whatever. Don doesn't. I used to tell people about that book constantly. I still do. I'm doing it right now. I can't help talking about it. It's just like, anytime I run into anybody who's having any kind of problem in life, and they don't know what to do about it, and so they just can't stand everything, I'm like, dude, there's a book you need to read. You need this desperately. Because that book saved my life. Like, I would have killed myself or fallen into some crazy, fucked up, screwy life of crime, and nothing good would happen. But, because I was getting pretty dark there for a while. But how long ago was it? It was a summer. I was here. This was 2011. That was the good thing that came from Britney. Well, the first Britney. There were 2 Britneys in my life. But the first one, I didn't get her, but she introduced me to that book. And that was like one of the best gifts anybody ever gave me. She gave me a copy of it, didn't she? Yeah. I passed it on to other people. And I bought another one, and I passed that one on, and I bought another one. It's a really good book. It's a really short read. It's really easy to understand. And the effect it will have on your day-to-day life and your ability to deal with other human beings and to be happy all the time, if you choose to be, because that's what it is for me now. If I'm not happy, it's not because I can't be. It's because I'm choosing not to be for whatever reason. And so I always have to own my unhappiness now. Which can be kind of a bitch, but if you think about it in the right light, it's very empowering. It's like, oh, I'm really mad. But I don't have to be. And I drop the hot coal. Because anger is like a hot coal. When you hold on to it, you're the only one who gets burned. Anyway, one day, the great universal digital library, my words will be on record as the Great Book of Aaron. Could have been Jesus. Maybe, I don't know. No. Anyway, where the hell am I? Yeah, that's a lot. Take that all in. Have a great Sunday. Aaron out.